What's up, guys? Dylan Rush here, joined today by a UFC Featherweight boasting a 19-10 professional record, fighting out of Fortis MMA in Dallas, Texas. Steven Ocho Peterson. How you doing, Ocho?
I've been well. How you doing, Joe?
Doing good, bro. It's been a while since I saw you. I think it was last May I came out to Dallas. How have you been these last it's been 10 months since we saw you in the cage. What have you been up to recently?
Man, I've been itching. I've been itching. I'm ready to get back in there. I don't know what I got to do, man. I've been going to a lot of the UFC fights, kind of meet and greeting with fans. Yeah, just trying to get a fight booked. I guess I got to start talking shit online or something. I don't
That's
know, but
that would be the game, yeah.
yeah, I've been busy building my company, Show TV. We're a multimedia basic production company. So building that, we do promotions, kickboxing, Muay Thai, stuff like that. So yeah, just building my brand, coaching at Fortis MMA, building up some of these amateurs, and getting them opportunities to fight, and trying to basically work on the next wave of martial artists coming out of there.
So I know you're an instructor at Fortis, like as you mentioned just now. Do you feel like coaching and verbalizing and telling people how to do things, do you think it helps elevate your own skills?
Yeah, without a doubt. When I coach, I have to break down certain techniques, stuff that I might do naturally, uh, but when you break it down and then you have to follow all your P's and Q's when you're coaching because you got to lead by example. So I can't be yelling at these guys that keep hands up and with me not keeping my hands up. So stuff like that, leading by example and then breaking down techniques helps me elaborate on why we do some of the things we do, and I just think it helps me grow as a martial artist in general.
Yo, next time I come to Dallas, we got to do an interview in your spot, bro, not the Airbnb in the hood like we did last time.
Yeah, you can come into the office, come up to Fortis MMA, shit, get some training in. Why not?
Yeah, bro, let's do it. I would love to. So, I saw that Sherdog today had you as a lightweight. Are you thinking about moving up, or is that just a mistake?
Yeah, that's got to be a mistake based off of my last weight cut miss. I would fight at lightweight. I have fought at lightweight before. I think featherweight's perfect for me. Yeah, I had a little hiccup last time, but it's nothing that we don't have in check right now. So got my weight lower than I would show up on fight week right now. Kind of just changed my strength and conditioning routine, and I've been working with Icon Meals on my diet and with the UFC PI. So I think they got me right where I need to be.
I've seen that. That looks cool with Icon. Well, just mentioning lightweight, this is kind of random, but I'm sure you saw the Jared Gordon Patty Pimblett fight. I think it was this past weekend, UFC 282. Did you think Patty Pimblett won that fight?
Hell no, man. I was, but I did predict that. Like I was like, all right, if this goes to decision, they're gonna give it to Patty, because I think Vegas is like is very powerful in that where they go after the favorite fighters. Vegas doesn't like to lose money, and I know a lot of people bet on Patty Pimblett, so it just makes sense to if they're controlling the narrative. I don't know. If I don't want to call anything corrupt, but judging's been screwed up from the get go, and it seems like they always go for the favorite whenever a fight's. I wouldn't even call that one close, but if it's arguable, they're gonna go for the favorite.
Part of me wants to ask you, like, do you feel like you have any solution or any thoughts for like how to fix judging? But at the end of the day, you're a freaking professional fighter. I'm a journalist. It's not our job. There are people paid to do it. I don't know why they still have these boxing judges from the 1990s judging these fights instead of former fighters and maybe coaches. I'd rather have that guy Doug Crosby that gave the 50-45 to Sabatello, gave Patty 2 rounds.
Yeah,
I'd rather have Safe as a judge. You think Safe would be a better judge than that guy?
yeah. I think they need to revamp the whole commission because there's no reason why we should be using the boxing commission for mixed martial arts. They're totally different sports. We shouldn't use a boxing judging system. It should be a point-based system that we use in all different martial arts, as far as karate, jiu-jitsu, wrestling. There's no rounds 10-9. It's non-existent. It's okay, this guy scored 16 points and this guy scored 2 points, or
Yes,
every
yes,
time
that's what I think.
land a punch, that's a point. Every time you get a takedown, that's say 4 points. You take the back, that should be another 4 points. If the guy sweeps, okay, you can throw him points. It's every time you land a punch, you got to account for cuts, you got to account for submission attempts, but stuff like that, you just put it into a simple algorithm, and if we could take stats, then we can take score. It shouldn't be 10-9. It should be a tangible score where, okay, as I'm landing, okay, in my head, I'm like, all right, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that one knocked him down, so that one should be count for so and so. And just like when we do in martial arts tournaments or competitions, we should be able to keep track of score that way.
This 10-9, like 10-8 scoring system, mostly 10-9, it just seems lazy. Like you said, like it could be so much more advanced with the advanced metrics we have. The PFL has this smart cage, this ref cam. It tells you how fast, how many miles per hour a guy's throwing. If you can calculate the guy's power, all these different things, you could create a scoring system with that. I mean, like I said, I'm not a mathematical guy. I don't know how to do that shit, but there are definitely people out there that could create a much better scoring system, at least in my opinion, than the 10-9. Yeah, the 10-9.
I agree. It's not going to be perfect. Nothing's ever perfect. But it's going to at least have a differential rather than 10-9 or less. It's going to have a differential where, okay, one statistic taker might think, okay, this guy got 40 points and this guy got 20. But then the other statistic might be, okay, this guy got 43 and this guy got 28. But it would still have that differential that would show a clear winner.
Definitely. So you were mentioning you were heading to some UFC events recently. I saw you were at 281 in New York, correct? I saw you met Nate Diaz. How is that? What was it like?
Yeah, I've met Nate a couple times. He comes to Dallas every now and then. Dude's a class act. He's chill as hell. People give him a bad rep because people fuck with him. But like you don't fuck with fighters. You don't mess with people. Just be nice, be good to people, and then people will be good to you in return. And Nate's just one of those dudes. As long as you're good to him, he'll be good in return.
Did you grow up too far from him? It must have not been too far, right? I know it was both in California, but
yeah, he was up in Northern California is where Stockton is, but I had some family that lived up there, and I had a cousin that I think his name's Ryan. I grew up when I'd go visit up there in Stockton, and he's just like Nate. He'd go like kicking doors in and just to be a brash dude. So they grow up rough over there in Stockton.
I wanted to ask you, so you saw I was at the Jake Paul Anderson Silva fight this past October in Arizona. I saw Safe there. I saw Uriah, got to speak to them about you, about other stuff, but just these two quotes. Uriah said about Steven Peterson, one of the only white dudes that's just black. And then Safe Saud, every one of his fights are crazy exciting. What does it mean to you to hear these guys? I guess, I don't know if the first one's a compliment. I don't know if I call it's a statement.
Yeah, I take it as a compliment, like I'm good to people, and I joke with my friends. I got my black card. I grew up in LA, so it's all good fun, and that's how that there's no racism going on between any of us. It's like Uriah is the whitest black dude that I've ever met. I'm the blackest white dude he's ever met, so we kind of get along with that, and we know damn well it's not true. Our colors are on our skin, but it's a lot deeper than that. We shouldn't be based off our color, and that's kind of why we joke about it. We're all people, and we're good people, so we get along with that, just playing around with all that. And then with Coach Safe, man, we all know my fights are exciting, but it feels great to have him think so fondly of me. I always go in there. I go to put on a show, and now I'm really refining my craft so I can stay on my P's and Q's and practice what I preach. And I don't like seeing my students take damage. So now I can see my coaches not wanting me to take damage. I'm like, I don't give a fuck, man. I'll go in there and just throw down. But when I see my students take damage, I'm like, come on, please, man. That thing on your face is gonna be there forever. So. Just learning from that point of view, it's really helped me come a long way, and it's good to be respected.
In my 11 months doing this, I think one of the coolest stories I've heard is the story of how you came to Fortis, how you lost to a few fighters that Safe was coaching. You felt like he obviously knew some holes in your game, and you went to him directly instead of like saying fuck this guy that knows the holes in my game. You went to him and you asked him to fill those holes and help you. So, and then of course the sparring story. I forget who the other fighter was.
Yeah, Quinn Kiff. Yeah.
And they all circled around you and they realized like you got humbled and people started respect, like you earned some respect there, which rightfully so. So definitely a cool story of you guys. How was it seeing Uriah box? He did pretty well, right? You were proud of him?
Yeah, I was really proud of him. It's good to see him back in the win column, and he's a great dude. He's gives so much back, and it was tough to see him in the way that he went out of the UFC. He didn't go out in the best fashion. He kind of he just didn't want to be there. Like it was he was kind of over it. So when he retired from the UFC, it was like, what's next for him? And I'm really glad he got that opportunity, got to showcase his skills, and I think a lot of us can transition over to boxing from MMA, and that's always something that we can do, not necessarily as a backup, but as an alternate plan after we're done fighting. There's many options. Seeing other guys do this boxing in these basically celebrity matches, fighting athletes from different sports. I think that's an incredible way to bring fans into not only boxing, but to bring them into MMA and kind of show that we're well-rounded athletes as well.
Definitely. I thought it was cool the way that he retired or stepped away from the game. He posted about it at like 4 a.m. like Tim Duncan did from the NBA. Like it wasn't like a retirement tour or like a one last fight and everyone. It was just like kind of like that's kind of who Uriah Hall is. And the coolest part about that is that MMA Junkie and MMA Fighting, all of them were asleep. So I broke the news on his retirement. I was the one. So that was like one of the coolest things for me back in the day. Last thing about me, did you see the clip in the post fight after Uriah won? He said to me, like, be careful with your question. And then I took the mic and I was like, it's not for you, bro. I asked Safe a question. And he was like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. That shit was so funny. That was one of my
favorite. That was good.
That was one of my favorite moments. I got to ask you about this guy, Damon Jackson, who was on a tear, 3-0 in the year 2022, 4-1 in the UFC, including 2 performance bonuses. The only fight he lost was against, one of the best in the weight class. He's set to fight Dan Ige in a few weeks, January 14th. How do you see that one playing out?
I got to go with my boy Damon. Damon's an absolute terror, man. Like, I hate doing rounds with that dude. I hate sparring with him. He's just one of those guys that he's always there. He can take you into deep water and make those rounds just miserable. And I'm usually that guy for some of the guys doing their rounds, and he's that guy for me. It's like MMA math. Not to give away any names, but there might be somebody who I just have my way with in sparring, and then he gets in there with Damon, and then now they have a really good close match, and then I get in there with Damon, and then Damon could have his way with me on a day. So it's like MMA math doesn't add up that way, but it's great to have training partners like Damon that they'll take you there, so you're prepared when you actually go in there. So I think he's on a tear. He's better than he's ever been, and as long as he's confident, he's going to go in there and smash.
I always love to talk about anything MMA related, but the real reason I wanted to talk to you tonight, Sean Woodson, it's a name you've been calling out. You want that Sean Woodson fight. He verbally agreed. He at least typingly agreed, said that he would love to do it. He loves your fight style, thinks it'd be a banger. Do you think that one might be your next one for early, maybe the first quarter of 2023?
Very well could be. I've been feeding these in Sean Shelby's ear, trying to get some sort of matchup. Like, really, I'll fight anyway. I'd love to fight Nate Landwehr. I'd love to fight Cub Swanson. Yeah, Nate Landwehr, he just got a co-main event win, and it's like that would be a banger. Darren Elkins would be a freaking great fight. There's really not an unexciting fight for me in the featherweight division, but looking at Sean Woodson, he actually called me out. I believe it was after his UFC debut, and I was like, this guy. Everybody was calling me out at that time. I think it's after the spinning back fist knockout, and that's a good problem to have when everybody wants to fight you. It's my job, but right now it doesn't seem like a lot of people are too eager. Whoever wants to get paid needs to step up, because I'm that 50G guy. These guys get their biggest paycheck of their career fighting me. Even if you don't get your win bonus, because you probably won't, you're gonna get that 50G as long as I don't take you out. So uh, I like to put on a show, and I think Woodson would be a great fight for me. Um, he likes to say he's a striker. I think I would knock him the fuck out in the first round. So I've been watching him. I've been seeing all these openings. I'm sure he's working on his game. I've been working on my game the last year, but there's some intangibles in there. And I think that chin is suspect, and I'm going to test it.
That would be a good one. There, you just named a great. Even if it wasn't for, even if the Woodson fight weren't to be made, there's a couple, bro. Darren Elkins, that would be a banger, bro. I would love to. I know he just fought, but I would love to see that. I gotta ask you about one last guy from Fortis, Alonzo Menafield, Jimmy Crute, UFC 284 in Perth. Crute is a big guy, he's a good guy. Menafield's, I think he's on a couple fight win streak, right, Alonzo?
Yeah, he's on a tear as well. I think he's on a 3-fight win streak, 3-fight win streak. So, um, yeah, Zoe's my boy. He's one of those athletes that's just like naturally can explode and jump up on top of the roof type dude. Like, I don't know. I do when we do airdyne, it takes me like 40 something seconds to get to 15 calories. It takes him like 4 seconds. Like no joke. Dude's like, and then he hops off. I'm like, geez, man, like
Yeah,
I'm
bro.
over here grinding. But yeah, he's one of those guys that all he needs to do is zero in and then fire, and I think he could put Crude away.
All right, you touched on Ocho TV, but we need a little bit more. What do we got going on in the future? Any work with, I forget, Kasky? The other guy was Winston Marcellus.
Princeton Marcellus, Kasky,
Prince.
Lucid. Yeah, I've gotten a few of these guys together to do collaborations. So some of those are going to be dropping pretty soon. Over here, I'm working. I got the music studio right there. So uh, yeah, we're working on a couple of different artists, developing some musical content, developing some documentaries style series, and then promoting events. So this Memorial weekend, we're going to do it again. We're going to add a couple things. It'll be a pretty dope event. Bring out some of the artists such as Kasky, and then we're going to debut something that we've been working on over the past year. So I don't want to say too much on that, because somebody else is going to fuck around and steal my ideas. But yeah, we got some really dope things in the works. Working on a couple commercials, music videos. I'm
I've
not a
seen your
rapper.
ads. Your ads are good. Your ads are good for Hooters and
You
Icon.
like them? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, building stuff like that. Like I said, we're a multimedia production company, so we do commercials for Hooters. We do commercials for Icon Meals. Um, I'm building a documentary, and then I'm building the music studio as well. So kind of just a jack of all trades, and I'm really into the production stuff. So I have fun doing this. This is kind of like my therapy away from MMA, and
Mhm.
then MMA becomes my therapy away from the work over here. So
That's
kind
good,
of
bro.
goes hand in hand, and yeah, I enjoy what I do. I kind of just I see something, hey, I want to do this, and then I got time to do it until I get a fight coming up. So yeah, I'll put this on pause whenever they call me, but right now I'm just trying to live in the moment, and not waste time. I'm 32. I got to be active, whether I'm fighting in the cage or whether I'm building my business. I got to stay active. So also 2023, you'll see a couple of movies that I'm working on coming out as well. So that'll be pretty cool.
Well, it seems like you have a good balance right now. And 32, of course, you're far from retirement, but everyone knows you can't fight forever. So it's good to see someone taking the necessary steps, correct steps, doing stuff outside fighting outside the cage for when you do eventually retire. All right, I got a speed round for you. You ready for the speed round?
Let's do it.
Who is the MMA GOAT? You can't say yourself.
GSP,
GSP. Favorite fighter growing up?
Matt Hughes.
Favorite submit? Really? And those are two guys that, all right. Favorite,
Yeah,
favorite submission to practice?
fucking rear naked choke.
Favorite musician? I think I know this one.
Kasky, boy.
Favorite fight of your own?
I'd say my world title win at LFA when I took down Manny Vasquez.
Really? Wow. See, bro, because you have a bunch of great fights. I was thinking it has to be either a Rosa or Bravo. Uh,
Yeah,
Dream opponent, dream venue. So not like who you want to fight next, but like dream opponent from the past or present. It could be anybody. And then dream.
Julian Rosa, Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
Let's get it. Main event.
Hell yeah, bro. I respect it. And then, of course, you said MSG is your dream venue, but for your next fight, if it wasn't MSG, because they probably don't do MSG until October, November, right? Would you prefer a fight in Dallas? You stay home, you have, family, friends there, or would you prefer to travel and get out of there for a little bit?
Jerry World, baby. Let's bring it home. Let's put on a show for Dallas. I'm Dallas's boy, and I think that would be you know, uh, that would put me on the next level. If I had my Dallas crowd be fighting at Jerry World or AAC, man, that crowd would be electric, and the UFC would see the star power that they're missing out on.
And then, real quick, so we had a whole 40-minute interview last time. This is almost, it was like 25, 30 minutes. I don't know. But you told me I don't know about your whole life story, but your whole MMA story, a lot of your life story. The times when you were doing those fight nights growing up, the time when you were beating people's asses, then a dude pulls guard, puts you in a triangle choke, you go to his garage and you go train with him, and this is how you get into MMA. It's crazy. Do you ever sit back and think about that moment and those moments and where you are now, UFC, wearing all this UFC merch, getting, you're living a good lifestyle. Do you ever sit back and think like, or say to yourself like, wow, I made it, and you're proud of yourself?
I do, yes and no. I'd say I made it to where I was expecting to be, but rest every day. You ain't made it until you're in a coffin. You know what I'm saying? Like, life is tough. You got to struggle every day. As soon as you sit back and look at your accomplishment, as soon as you sit back and look at your accomplishments as if you are done working towards something else, then it's time to die at that point. You got to always be setting the bar higher and working towards higher goals. Otherwise, you're just regressing and you're just going to decay.
I couldn't agree more. Last but not least, I got to ask you, we talked about it a bunch, but just one last time, a preview. What can we expect out of Ocho moving forward? What are we going to see in 2023 out of you?
You can expect a focused, disciplined Steven Ocho Peterson. 2023, I expect to fight 3 times. I'm going to go in there in my first fight. I'm going to make a statement in 2023, and I'm going to tell them I want to be active. You're gonna see a lot of exciting fights. You're going to see some knockouts and maybe a couple submissions as well. Like, I'm ready to go, and you're not going to see a boring fight out of me.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm very excited to see it. Thank you for taking the time again. I hope we get another interview, and maybe when their fight gets announced, I'll reach out again. So I appreciate it, bro. Thank you for taking the time tonight.
Hey, no doubt. You stay at it. You're the best in the game right now.
I
No
appreciate
doubt
it.
about it, man. You're
Thank
the
you,
one on
bro.
top of
I'll
the
see
game.
you. I'll see you in Dallas again one day, brother.
All right, brother. We'll be in touch.
Yes, sir.